In this video, we're going to look at views relationships and how you can use them to bring in more meaningful information into your views. So this news authors block that we have in the sidebar here shows the user IDs, which is fine from a technical standpoint because that is actually what we're filtering on, but it's not very meaningful to human beings. So we need to update this. Let's edit this. Okay, what we're going to do is look at this relationships section. The situation here is that Views is doing database queries. This is a visual database query builder, among other things. And the base table that we're looking at is Node, because that's the primary database table from which our content comes. But if we look here at phpMyAdmin, I've pulled up the actual Node table. And you can see there's a bunch of stuff in here. You don't necessarily need to know what any of this is, but UID is the thing that we're filtering on. And this database table uses the numbers. If we want the actual user names, we need to link to another table, which happens to be users. That's where the actual names for each user are stored. And the way we can make a link from one table to another in Views is to use relationships. So let's add one, see how this works. So what we want is the author name. And as it happens, I don't even need to do any filtering. It's right here, content author. So I can relate content to the user who created it. That's just what we want. There are quite a few other filters here. And you can look through these and explore how this works on your own. But for now, we're going to add the content author relationship. We'll just apply that to all displays. So after I choose it, I need to choose an identifier. Using the default for this is generally fine. And then I can require this relationship. In certain kinds of relationships, enabling this is good if you want to make sure that something in this other table that you're relating in is available. We don't need to require it. This is just an optional thing for now. So we now have some more information available because of that relationship. If we look back at this filter, nothing seems to have changed. And indeed, it hasn't. What has changed is the number of contextual filters available to us. So I'm going to add a new one. I'm just going to type in author. And now, user name is available. This was not available before. So I'm going to apply this. And what this means is I can now show usernames instead of user IDs and filter on them. So my relationship shows up here, author. And I'm going to create this just like I did with the other one. So we're going to display a summary, ascending, leave everything else just like it is. We will override the title, news by %1, and apply. So now I have two contextual filters, and these operate in the order that they appear. So what I would need to make this work right now is to have one/administrator or something along those lines, which is not what we want. We just want the username. So I'm actually going to remove this one. And now you can see that we have administrator, Cash Bacon, and anonymous appears as nothing. But we're filtering on usernames now. So let me try Cash Bacon and update the preview. And there we go. Everything that was posted by Cash Bacon appears here. And this is nice not only because the username appears in that summary, but it also appears in the URL, which makes the URL a little more meaningful as well. So let's save this. And now News Authors has administrator and Cash Bacon and anonymous with no link. So if I click administrator, aha, I'm getting page not found. So let's edit this view again and see what happened. So everything seemed fine with the block. And again, administrator, updating the preview, that all worked. But that was just for the block, not for the resulting page with the contextual filter. So we need to go back and look at the page. And again, this is using the UID filter. So if I check this, you may recall that we have these validation criteria. And under validation criteria, we are checking whether it's a user, but we're only allowing numerical UIDs. Now, our summary block is actually displaying user names. So if we change this to allow string usernames, we should be back in business. So I'm going to apply this again, and I'll try the preview. So if I pass in administrator now and update this preview, that looks like it works. Okay, so let's save this. Close the overlay. And there we go. So now if I click Cache Bacon, I get news by Cache Bacon, and everything's working. The one thing we may want to do is get rid of this anonymous, but this is a sort of contrived situation anyway because we have anonymous user posting news because of Devel Generate. So I'm going to leave this as a reminder that that's something we have, and to help remind us to get rid of that garbage content later. So that is how you can employ relationships in your views to bring in information that you might not otherwise have access to.